Now, have you figured out how to save the transcript? What made you decide to move to Google Meet? You wanted to get off your work one, the work one from Zoom?
That's the short answer. Yep.
Got it.
I'll tell you more about why later now, but that's not important.
Got it. All right. And so when you click on that one, you'll see the chick that was one of the guests on the one I was just on. She is the millennial in the Ask a Millennial, Ask a Baby Boomer. Oh, the other one was Ask a Christian, Ask an Atheist.
All right.
See all of that when you go there. I'm also going to send you what I find for the technically female. She's housed somewhere in this listen notes, which I have no idea what listen notes is.
Hey, now, do you know how to save the chat?
I do not.
All right. All right. So I'll just grab them for now.
Yeah, and I was going to say, because see, I had sent you, I changed the invitation that I sent you from, well, actually, you could have, the invitation I sent you, you could have joined via Zoom or via Google Meet. And so if I set it up, then I can definitely, I think I have access to, I'll play around and see if I can figure out how, because I think it's easier to figure out how to get to the chat on the more enhanced version of Google Meet.
Okay.
I think they want to give everybody access to, has very limited capabilities. And so if you were the school district and or university, then you can buy up and get more enhanced options.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. You want to hit the agenda now? Because I got to stop at
Yes,
3:45
yes,
and get back
that's
to work.
I understand. I understand. I do too. Matter of fact, I was listening to that podcast and thinking about our call and trying to figure out. And I was like, so I'll do the last piece of what I have to do for this student after we finish up here.
All right.
So you want to drop it in the chat like usual,
Oh, yeah. I can do that.
or do we look for it somewhere?
No, I got it. All right. There you go.
Oh, one of the things they were talking about was where they record. They talked about so that you can control, I guess, the bounce or the so that you can control the, how your sound absorbs and bounces. They suggested that you do your interviews in your closets.
Mm-hmm.
They say your clothes actually are very good for managing the sound.
They are.
It was a very interesting, and a lot of people, they said just get started. Don't worry about, like you said, don't worry about fancy equipment initially. Just figure it out. They asked the girl Candace. She says, "I'm gonna be honest. I use for actually recording just an audio one." She says, "I use the recorder on my phone,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then uses editor, I think. They talked about the variety of editors they use, whether people if they ask planned questions or if they just kind of leave it free flowing. So it'll be interesting to hear the rest of it, and it'll be interesting to hear your take on it. Because I think we've done a lot or in doing a lot of what I heard there, but there were some other pieces where I'm like, okay, I hadn't thought about that, but they talked about even when you do the interview, try to do it in the order that you want to tell the story in, regardless of how you give the questions. If you decide to give questions to your guests, regardless of what order you give them guests, you can always reorder it based on how you want to tell the story, even in the interview and or editing.
Yep,
So,
that's solid.
all right. So
Yeah. Now
let's start with number one.
yeah, the first item is easy. Now just check your calendar and make sure that my brain is unfrozen.
That's
And
we're on the 21st, because it was so funny. I was going in to get my new glasses and I get a text from her. So I'm on here. Is anybody? I said, oh man, you didn't read your email when I told him to change the date.
yeah, because
You know,
I got the reminder, and I'm like, man, I know where my head was. I was so locked in on, okay, before I get to work, let me do my real job, and then let me get to work.
yep. And so it was so funny because she and I were talking. I told her about the idea that has spawned from the podcast of wanting to do something called, Black girls are STEM, Black girls are engineers kind of thing. And, finding a way to gather and create this community of young girls initially. And she was like, oh, yeah, my child need that too. I said, you don't know shit either, huh? I said, it's amazing how your kids can help you to realize that they the only people that don't. It don't matter how many other people think you're wonderful. They not gonna think you're wonderful initially. That's for daggone sure. Occasional way. So you were a daddy with a daughter, so that's different because I'm a daddy's girl. But with mamas,
Well, now I hope mine stay in love now, because they get along very well. It's very pleasing to watch.
no. And you know what? And I had a love affair until about 12.
All right. Well, I
And then the people I live with showed up.
yeah, I'm taking all that in, boy.
I tell them, I say, I tell people, I said, my little people were not difficult little people. They were not hard to manage. They were not hard to navigate. They were really, now maybe God was really kind and said, okay, I gave her two, so I'm not going to make this real hard.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so yes, we are on for 2 o'clock this Friday.
All right, cool. And then item two, we're kind of discussing that already. It sounds like, just based on what I've seen in this meeting, I've got to at least get what I know I've got on the free version of Zoom, even though it was pandemic free. And if I've got to buy that, then I'll just buy it, because I think Zoom is $16 a month.
Got it.
Yeah, and see, I would pay that. Now, just for the concert features alone, even though they're not officially concert features, I'm like, no, I need control of that audio, because you can pull. What did you have me watching the other day? The beloved, the beloved conversation. See,
Mm-hmm.
for all the slick and glitz on the website, man, that podcast sounded so bad. And I'm like, y'all will get away with this because you're obviously doing it on a phone, but it's Killer Mike, and you got Killer Mike to do it, so you just live with how it sounds. But it sounded bad.
I also sent you the link to when Steve and Robert Smith talked too.
Yeah. I watched the second one first. Yeah, and now is
Did you
that?
watch the one with
Oh, say it
Go
again.
ahead.
Yeah, say it again.
I said, did you watch the one with Steve and Robert Smith yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the sound is the same.
All right. All right.
Because I presume all them cats are using Zoom too.
Yeah, but they using Zoom, and they don't know
Setting it
about
up.
those settings. Yeah.
Nobody's doing anything in the background. They just going, oh, we got this good content. Let's put it out here.
Yeah, and you can get away with it because I mean it's a new normal now, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Now,
This is how people are functioning.
yeah. Now I watched most of our meeting from August the 1st when I edited
Okay.
it, and I just wanted to make sure you saw that. Well, actually, when I send you the summary, I pull out the ones and say, okay, I think these are like really
Mm-hmm.
good, and not for any
Oh,
particular reason, but
hold on a second.
all right.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, not for any artistic reason. Those just kind of stood out as, oh yeah, I remember those very well. But that was all I had for that one, and to make sure that you
Yeah,
got it and can
I
see
did.
all of them.
I've not done anything with it yet, because school started last Monday.
All right. Well, you saw how long it took me to get it out to you. I was like, okay, I hope it ain't gonna always be 2 weeks, but our
Well,
pre-planning
look,
week in the first.
we back to our regular jobs being full. For me, when the students go away, I did the summer project, but I really get to do planning. I get to work on stuff. And that's what the summer has looked like for the last 2 summers. Yeah, this is the second summer. Um, Academic year, a whole lot of more moving parts, a whole lot more people needing things.
Yeah.
And then I work in the part-time job as well. So I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for being in pandemic mode still, because it allows me to shift my day such that I can control it. Nobody bothers me, as long as I get the work done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
So I saw the Pulitzer thing. It started talking about storytelling. I was like, okay, well, this seems like a way for Derrick to tell some stories, and figure out how to wrap quantitative and qualitative stuff into a space. I don't know, but I shared it because I was like, I think he can, but he might not want to, or he might not think this is the right thing. So, um,
All right. Then go back and read about the people, the two people that are the coordinators for the fellowship program.
mhm.
And I want to say both of them worked on the curriculum elements for the 1619 project.
Okay. Yeah. And so how I even got connected with is because they talked about 1619 creating curriculum for classrooms. And that's the reason I signed up to follow along.
Okay, well, yeah, this guy, the main coordinator of the fellowship, wrote most of the curriculum.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I said, okay, now that looks pretty good. So they're supposed to decide mid-September.
Because you start with the 22nd or something like that.
Yeah, so what I'll probably end up doing, like Friday's interview with I'm gonna
Radiah.
Radia, I'm gonna do that on my work Zoom,
Hmm.
because I can justify that one pretty easily. I say this
Okay.
is the type of content that I will share with my kids during our connect time and our daily meetings and whatnot. But if I did a concert, I said no. If I do a concert, I'm gonna uh, well,
Not do work.
I may even bend that back. It all depends on what these folks do in these first couple of weeks, because
Got it.
I work for geniuses,
Hmm.
and now that they have a paid version of Zoom that logs the meetings, I gotta wait and see what the geniuses do with the data generated by each meeting, and then that'll tell me where my gaps are. Gotta wait for the gaps. Look, I gotta let the offensive line do their thing, and then
Hmm.
I find the
Hmm.
hole and run the
You figure out
daily.
what the seams are. Figure out what the seams are. You got to run straight, or you got to turn sideways to get through the gap.
Yeah, and these don't seem like the type of cats you press the hole with, man. You just wait for them to open the hole. You ain't got
Yep.
to press it.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. So
I
that
get it.
Yeah, so that's what I have for that one, because it looks like I, oh, I was gonna send you my application. I said, yeah, that would be worth doing. Send you what I wrote to him, because I really did just fit me into it. That's why I did it the next day. It was pretty easy to write.
Got it. Well, I mean, but you've been working. You realize that much of your work is to find ways to tell your stories and other people's stories.
Yeah. Now the fear is, I call this my Rona fear. Man, please don't bring me up in this just to be the audience for all these people talking. Please don't do that. That ain't doing nobody no good. And they do have a lot of speakers lined up. So I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna be here, let me come here and do something now. I'm trying to I ain't trying to just sit here and listen to y'all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then you got to think about it too, because they are using journalists to share. You're going to get a perspective that you normally wouldn't get, because I'm going to believe that even though they'll have their journalist hat on, they're going to be more personal with you, but they're going to be more personal with you, sharing how they journey through storytelling as journalists, because how we do it looks different.
Hmm. Yeah, so it looks good. It looks good, and we'll wait until September and see if I have something I need to explain to my geniuses so that they'll be on board. Yeah. So
Look. I'm sure that if you get it, that you will be a feather in somebody's cap.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
The- 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 the-
I try to minimize and manage that kind of stuff because see that you know about the book that I was in. I said,
Mhm.
yeah, let me tell these geniuses and see what they do. And they kind of played it off like it was nothing. And I said, yeah, that's because ain't nobody made no noise about it. Now, if there was noise made, you would have been a something because you have seen other people be something for far less than that. That this they were like, oh, that's so nice. I've been in a book too, you know. I wrote a book. Matter of fact, that's my building principal has written a book about the moral decay of our youth. He did that 6 or 7 years ago. I haven't read it yet now, but I do know.
That's the black fellow that was assigned to check on you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's written a book. So you've been in a book. I've written a book. Yeah, that's about the same thing. And then the high school principal said, "You and I share two passions in common. We love writing and we love baseball. Good job." I said, "Well, you need to tell them because you don't know what this is going to turn into." As far as the book goes now, camera crew
Uh-huh.
ends up at school my first day of work. You need to explain that. Well, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And at least you got to see that you're no bigger than they are because they've done the same thing. Yeah. I like to write and I like baseball. That same thing.
Where baseball piece come from?
I sent him the first chapter of the book, and it was talking about me when I was a little boy. And
Okay.
I love baseball and he is a baseball stud. Now that's his claim to fame. He was a baseball player.
Oh, okay. Where do you play? What school do you play at?
It was high school. Now I don't even know what high school he went to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You say he's a baseball player. I'm thinking that he got to go on at least play at college and get somebody to give him some money to play.
Yeah, he could have now, but I just don't know.
You don't know the story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Based on what you said, I think he'd have told you the story by now.
Probably so. Now he may have told the story, and I just haven't been around. So never know, never know. Now
Got it.
let me find Keisha's thing real quick. I'm looking at the
Okay,
notes
I'm
from
gonna
our
tell you.
last meeting. Huh?
I'm gonna tell you. I hadn't done anything with it because my initial plan was to go through it before we got on. But then when I remembered that I had the podcasting, then I was like,
Okay, then.
we will both our stuff and generate our questions.
Oh, say that part again.
I said we will both go back and look at the content from that pre-production interview and then figure out what our questions are for her.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Now I remember, and I mark the special parts of the conversation with the
Mm-hmm.
big M, and I marked two for her
Yep.
where I was
Yep.
like, okay, she was doing this, but she just went to the stratosphere. Yeah, but you could just see. I was like, yeah, see, that's her wheelhouse, man. Like that's her right there, right there, right there. And she,
Yep.
boy, I'm gonna tell you what she was talking about. She was just talking about how she became who she is
Mm-hmm.
and the people that spoke into her. That's when she was like, yeah, man, that's and
She is. She and I really could. We are very much kindred spirits. So for her, everything is relational. So she keeps everybody. She collects people too.
yeah, and it reminded me of the question you want to use. Tell me about your grandparents. It's like, oh yeah, she would nail that. She would that would
Yep.
and that
Yep.
would
Yep.
put y'all in that. It's something Oprah does very well. It puts you in this comfort zone where you're not asking questions. Now you're just talking.
Mm-hmm.
You're just talking.
Yep.
That would get her there very well. As would that
Yep.
question in general. Now, so that's a good question. Now, that's a
Yep.
good
Yep. Yep.
question.
Yep. Yep. And I've amended it to say, because for some folks, their grandparents on a layer removed. Their grandparents are more than just grandparents. They're grandparents and parents. So that question is going to hit home folks really, really hard, and then for other people, it's gonna have to be about their parent or somebody, will have to amend it and ask about somebody who just had the greatest influence on who they are today.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll come out in the wash. It's the same question, just tailored to whatever the situation
Absolutely,
is.
absolutely.
Because see,
So
I would tell you, don't ask me about my daddy's mama. Now you gotta ask me about my mama's
I
mama.
already know about your daddy's mama.
Ask me about the right grandmama now.
But you know what? But so, like, if you were the person being interviewed, that would still be good. I think that would be good stuff because it would, because we move through space and we want to make everybody be the same. Grandmamas ain't the same. Some grandmamas, if you listen to Michelle Obama, and when she talks about South Side, and I can't think of her South Carolina grandfather. They have a special name for him too, but South Side is her mama's daddy. You hear her talk about, now maybe it's a Capricorn girl thing, I don't know, because her birthday is 10 days after mine. 10 or 11. She's the 16th or 17th. And she talks about both her granddaddies. You don't ever hear her really talk about her grandmothers.
Hmm.
I mean, and she has deep and abiding conversation and stories about how her grandfathers have shaped her.
Hmm.
Southside was, he bought her first record, and she kept it at his house.
Hmm.
I want to say it was a Michael Jackson record, but it might not have been. It might have been somebody else. I can't remember, but her first record. And then with her father's father, she's like, had my grandfathers been born in a different time and had different opportunities, she said, I have no doubt that my father's father would have been a professor or something, because he was just a man of deep thought, always analyzing, always demanding more of us. Because how they even ended up how Craig and she ended up at Princeton, it was a relative or somebody from that Georgetown part of their family who had moved north. And when they were trying to figure out schools, they knew that they had a relative there. They knew it was a fancy school, and so that was how that would even get on the radar for the family, because there was family there.
That sounds good. Sounds about right.
Yep, yes, definitely, for how so many of us moved from the south to the north.
Yeah.
So, that grandparent / parent question can take people a lot of different ways. Even interviewing you, it would be interesting to hear you contrast the grandmothers.
Yeah. You would have to give me some time with that one ahead of time. Say, I gotta walk this tightrope here. The tightrope. Ain't ending up with
Because
nobody.
some of them, because the cousins who think real highly of her would want your head, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. They probably would. God bless all of them, though. I love them all.
Standing on that side or standing on your mama's side?
Oh, Stanton's on Daddy's side. On
Okay.
Daddy's side.
Did he think grandmama walked on water too?
That would be a good question for me and him to have. Now he lived next door to her, so I know he got a very different relationship than everybody else because he lived right next door to her, and he's the oldest son of her favorite son. So yeah,
Oh,
he's got a different relationship with her.
got it,
I
got
don't
it.
I
How
don't
many
know. Say again.
daddy in those is?
Say again.
How many siblings did your daddy have?
8.
Okay. So what number was he in the eight?
Daddy was number 3, second oldest
And
boy.
okay, and so that's a bad spot to be in, the second gender of anything.
Yeah, and now he
Mama.
he looked up to his older brother too. Now, and that was
Mhm.
like his best friend. That's why me and Stanton were tight.
Got it. And how many siblings your mama have?
She had 2 sisters.
Okay. Oh, a house full of girls.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's gonna look so. Oh yeah, that yeah. Just the dynamics in the houses they grew up in gonna look real different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had a time, boy. Well, they still have a time.
Oh, the three sisters don't always get along.
They just old now, so they old and cranky instead of young and cranky.
Okay, but your grandmother wasn't like that,
No, but now,
or at least as a grandmama she wasn't. You don't know
yeah,
what she was like
yeah,
as a young mama,
exactly, exactly. As a grandmama
because
now,
that comes from somewhere.
yeah, yeah. But as a grandmama now, it's like, boy, you like the best grandmama ever.
Oh no no no! See, I know both my granddads had girlfriends. I know they as husbands they definitely parted into one worth of cuss.
Mm.
As daddy, I don't hear a lot of complaints about them as fathers. Other than the fact that they had girlfriends, so that's a problem for your children. Grandfather perspective, man, them jokers was the best thing in the world when it came to being grandparents. I'd be like, y'all might mess up your other stuff, but y'all was great
Yeah,
grandparents.
yeah, you did right by us.
Mhm. So I'd be like, I ain't a little them your issues with your wife and your children, your grandchildren, good.
Yeah,
So yeah, and so that in and of itself, that whole season of life, as people move through those transitions, same person, but being so capable in certain spaces, not so capable or not so good in other, that whole human dynamic. So I don't think I've talked to you since Jocelyn and I had this conversation when I told her about the idea of the round table of all of us. She and Radia both. I hadn't talked to Keisha about it yet, I don't think, but she and Radia both really like that idea. One of the things Jocelyn said is that part of what we want to do is she says we've got to work to help our audience, which we've deemed as young people, see the real struggles that we've had, that this stuff didn't just accidentally happen and we didn't just go poof and these things fell together. um Being honest and transparent about some of the struggles and the human stuff that happened along the way.
hmm. Oh yeah, I've been imagining what that's going to look like. It's like, yeah, that's going to be good stuff, man. That's going to be good stuff. And
Not imagining.
oh yeah, well, I'm playing around with everybody being in a different spot and making it look like you're in the same spot. And yeah, that's what I'm after. But now that's where everybody being on a common platform, yeah, that will probably help that a lot. And
Yeah,
yeah, I gotta grind through all of that in my head.
because the reality is we can all, if now if it is Zoom, because I haven't figured out how to put up backgrounds in Meet. I don't even know if you can. I don't know if Meet has figured that part out yet either, or Google has figured that part out. But we easily can all have similar or the same background if we use Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm
So this just popped in my head. So you will have two tigers and two wolf packs. So we could have something Clemson related for Jocelyn and I, and something wolf pack related for the two of them, or we could not do that at all. That just came to me.
so they, but
Uh,
yeah, okay, now you said
Radia.
Daya is an industrial engineer. Well, they both
Yep,
are.
she didn't. So she's the
Okay.
only one that's not double E. Yep.
Oh, okay, all right.
She's the only one that's not double E. Keisha did double E. She did double E and then a master's in health care administration from Chapel Hill. So she's a pack and a ram, or a
Got
pack and a Tar Heel.
got it. Because now one of
And
Keisha's.
look, and grew up in Aggie land. She's from Greensboro. She went to Dudley High School, which is like the old black high school in Greensboro.
All right.
So
Now,
it's like going to OW.
all right. Now one of Keisha's best friends got her master's in healthcare administration from Chapel Hill. I think. No, she got it from Emory. She went to
Okay.
Chapel. Yeah, this lady went to Chapel Hill undergrad and then went to
I had
Emory
to
for
process
grad
when
school.
you said Keisha. I forgot your wife's name is Keisha.
Yeah, but Keisha Bickham had me thinking about Nicole Lewis Young. So, and
Okay.
Hannah Nicole Jones keeps me thinking about Nicole Lewis Young too, because they both went to Chapel Hill, and Nicole was a journalism undergrad.
Okay, but this Nicole, she went to grad school at Chapel Hill. She went to undergrad at, I'm gonna say, at Ohio University, or
Okay,
maybe University of Miami of Ohio. She went to undergrad in the Midwest, and she went to Chapel Hill and got her master's.
okay, but
Nicole Hannah Jones.
she makes me think about the Nicole I know, because the Nicole I know wants to be Oprah. And I said, yeah, I bet she would get a kick out of knowing who Hannah Nicole Jones is. Yeah. Aside from the common names, like, yeah, they would get a kick out of knowing each other.
Got it. Yeah, so they probably missed each other. Or one would have been, even if they'd have been there at the same time, one's in grad school, one's in undergrad.
Yeah, I think.
Because
It,
is Nicole more close to Keisha's age?
yeah, so she's
Yeah,
probably she's probably
she
coming
would have
out.
missed Nicole Hannah Jones, because the whole Nicole Hannah Jones is our age.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think she would have finished undergrad. She would have probably been finishing undergrad when Hannah Nicole was coming to grad school. I think that's how it would work.
Might have been. But so we'll both go back and extract questions um for Keisha's interview.
All right.
Um, I think you see the email. I sent an email to Jocelyn sharing the questions. I asked her to look at them, decide if she wanted to shape them differently, change them to try to get what she was envisioning the conversation should be like. So I'm waiting for that, and for her to give us a date when we actually do her interview.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
saw
so
that.
once we get that nailed down, then we can do the same with Keisha. And I guess the reality is we don't have to do Keisha and Radaya in the they would show up. We do them whenever we can get them,
Yeah.
and then figure out when we can do the interview with all four of us. Because the other thing is, I felt that the five of us, probably need the four ladies and the gentlemen needed to have a conversation about what we all envisioned the round table might look like.
All right.
Because maybe at that point you become the interviewer and I just become a part of the group.
Yeah, I thought of that. That would probably work. I'd have to find something to wear.
We all do.
Yeah, man, I have not. Oh, well, I've
Ain't
been.
nobody put on no clothes, boy.
Yeah, I've been getting the same pair of khaki shorts and the same blue shirt. Well, I switch on and off from my Marietta blue shirt to my regular blue shirt, but I hadn't put on socks since March. I said, dang.
I put socks on when I go to UPS and put on my Coach Oxfords.
Yeah,
Otherwise, my toes are in flip flops or sandals.
yeah, I heard that. Yeah, we all just slumming, man.
Look, I can't even really get excited about going to Belk to buy stuff on sale.
Yeah. It's been a minute since I bought a bunch of shoes in March, and that was when I didn't know I'm about to go home. So I plenty of shoes I have not even put on yet. Like, don't need them now.
Were they for you to have comfort on your feet for the
Oh,
classroom?
exactly. Yes. Because my feet, I won't say they swell, but they definitely start changing throughout the day because I'm standing
Oh,
up a lot,
absolutely. Absolutely. No, they swell. That's exactly what they do.
and I can
Or
feel.
expand. They expand.
Yeah, and my feet are different sizes anyway, so it just
Like
always
drastically different.
not drastically, but I can once one of them swells up a little bit, it feels like the shoe I got on doesn't have enough room at the top.
Got it. Got it. That's the thing, everybody, just like everybody has one arm that's longer, everybody has a foot that's bigger. Sometimes it's more. So like when my babies were small, one of hers was like it was almost like a shoe size, at least a half shoe size larger than the other foot.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we have interesting feet in this house
I heard that.
because as a kid I had narrow feet completely and then my foot grew, but the heel never got any bigger. And so nobody in my house has a heel much wider than that.
So you got a skinny heel.
Yes.
Hmm.
I have an A heel and a B foot.
Ain't that
So
ain't that something to have? You got a skinny heel.
look, let me tell you something. It caused great trepidation and challenge to put shoes on my feet as a kid, and even as an adult when I'm responsible for it. In the summertime, I wear sandals. It's not a big deal, but when I have to put on shoes that close up all the way,
Mm-hmm.
I have to be very intentional because shoes just naturally gap around my ankles because of the way my heel is made. So I prefer mules that I can just either boots or mules that I can slide my feet in because that just makes life so much easier.
Hmm.
But having to find shoes that I got lace up, oh yeah, trust and believe that's a journey. That ain't easy for some people just walk in and get a shoe. Yeah, that ain't my story.
Hmm. Hmm. All right, I got 344 now. I gotta wrap it up.
I have I actually have 345, but we've made it through the agenda.
Yeah, we got there. We got there.
And we didn't go through a whole lot of rabbit holes either. We getting better.
Well, I know I can't today. I'm like, well, you stay right here.
Yep, yep, yep. So did you email me the application yet?
Not yet. No, I'll do that after we get off.
Got it. All righty. I'm trying to see if I can. Nope, I don't see a way to do anything with the chat. I was just gonna make one more pass through. I'm just gonna copy it and drop it into a document because I don't find a way to. Yeah. Ah, that's it. Let's see. I wonder. You see, do the captions show up on your phone as well? I mean, your computer as well.
Uh, yeah, I just turned them on.
Oh, okay. So I can only see it. You couldn't see it. That's interesting because I figured when you turned it on, it would be visible to everybody. It's an
Oh,
interesting feature.
so you're saying you can't see it?
So yes, what I was saying is you turned it on, and I was like, when I turned it on, I would have thought that you would have been able to see what I saw, but I don't think you could see what I saw until you turned it on for yourself.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. Yeah, because this would yeah, I got something to think about now how to use this because I wouldn't want it on the video. Yeah, it's on my video, but that's because of the way I record. Now I'm just recording a spot on the screen. It does translate very well because it's catching most of the words that I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well. Yeah, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Even
So,
yeah, it's doing pretty well.
all righty. Well, this was good. I will see you on Friday. Let us both go back to our other jobs now.
All right, take care now. Be safe.
You too. You
All right,
too.
all right. Bye.
Bye bye.